Ladies and gentlemen, the world is waiting for a miracle. Some of you listening to me right now are standing at the edge of despair, wondering if there is any way forward. You've tried everything in your strength. You've prayed, you've worked, you've cried, you've pleaded, and deep inside your heart you are asking, can God really do it? Can God really turn this around? And I came to tell you today with fire in my bones, with a word that will not let me rest until I declare it. Yes, God will do it. The impossible is about to happen. The very thing you thought was too far gone, the very situation you thought was too broken, the very dream you thought was too dead, God is about to breathe life into it. The impossible is about to become possible because when God moves, no power in heaven or earth can stop him. Do not look at your life through the eyes of limitation. Do not measure your tomorrow by the weight of your yesterday. God is not bound by what you see, nor is he restricted by what you lack. When God decides to move, he does not consult your circumstances to see if they agree. He does not check with your enemies to see if they approve. He does not knock on the door of your doubts to ask for permission. God speaks and it is done. God commands and it stands firm. God declares and creation itself bends to obey his word. That is the God I am telling you about. That is the God who is about to move in your life. That is the God who will do it. You may be in a place right now where your back is against the wall. The reports are negative. The bank account is empty. The family is divided. The door seems shut, locked, sealed, and barred. But I want you to understand this truth. The doors that men lock, God can open. The mountains that stand in your way, God can move. The rivers that seem uncrossable, God can part. And the chains that bind you, God can break. He does not tremble at impossibility. He is not shaken by the weight of your circumstances. When you say there is no way, God whispers, I am the way. When you say it is over, God declares, I am just beginning. When you say I cannot, God says I can. So many of you have limited God by the size of your faith. You look at your situation and you say, this is too big, too complex, too far gone. But hear me, God delights in showing his power in the very places where man says it is impossible. God waits for the hour when human strength fails so that he alone will get the glory. God allows the furnace to grow hotter, not to destroy you, but to reveal that the fire cannot consume what he has ordained to live. God lets the storm rage not to sink you, but to show that even the winds obey his command. But God lets the night grow darker, not to frighten you, but to reveal that he himself is the light that no darkness can extinguish. God does not need favorable conditions to perform his wonders. God creates the conditions in which his glory is revealed. Some of you are praying small prayers. You are asking God for crumbs when he is preparing a feast. You are asking him to fix a broken piece. When he wants to give you a new heart, you are asking him to open a window. When he is preparing to open the heavens, do not limit God with small thinking. Do not dishonor him with weak faith. Lift up your eyes, stretch your vision. Dare to believe that God is not only able, but willing to do exceedingly and abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. God is bigger than your problem, greater than your fear, stronger than your enemy, and more faithful than your doubts. God will do it. I am speaking to the one who has been waiting for years. You've been crying out in the silence, wondering if God has forgotten you. You've watched others receive their answers while your prayers seem to hang unanswered in the heavens. Let me tell you something. God has not forgotten you. God has not abandoned you. God has not overlooked you. He has been working behind the scenes, arranging, shifting, preparing, setting things in motion that you cannot see. What looks like delay is not denial. What feels like silence is not absence. God is not late. He is right on time. And when the time is right, when the moment has been fully prepared, when the stage has been set, God will step in. And it will happen suddenly. The doors will swing wide. The answer will come forth. The breakthrough will burst like the dawn after the longest night. God will do it. Some of you are trapped in the prison of fear. You have told yourself, I cannot, I will not, I should not. You have chained yourself to impossibility. And every time you try to step forward, those chains pull you back. But I tell you, those chains are illusions, Those chains cannot stand in the presence of God. When God speaks, the shackles fall. When God commands, the walls crumble. When God moves, nothing in earth or hell can hold you bound. You are not defined by your past. You are not limited by your mistakes. You are not imprisoned by your failures. God is greater than all of these. And if you dare to trust Him, if you dare to step forward, if you dare to believe, the impossible will happen in your life. I want you to imagine for a moment the power of the God who made the universe. Every star, every planet, every galaxy hangs in space because He commanded it. The oceans roar and stop at the boundary He set. The sun rises and sets because He ordered it. Seasons change, winds blow, rivers flow, all because God has spoken it. Now ask yourself this. If the God who governs the universe is able to do all this, do you not think He can handle your life? Do you not think He can heal your body? Do you not think He can restore your family? Do you not think He can lift you out of debt, out of despair, out of defeat? The God who made all things holds all power. Nothing is too hard for Him. Nothing is beyond His reach. Nothing is impossible for God. Some of you are standing in the valley of decision. You are asking yourself, should I believe? Should I risk it? Should I hold on? Let me be plain. You cannot afford not to believe, because without faith you will surrender to fear. Without faith you will bow to circumstance. Without faith you will die in the wilderness of doubt. But with faith you can climb mountains. With faith you can walk through fire. With faith you can stand in the storm. With faith you can look the impossible in the face and say, my God will do it. Faith is not denying the reality of your problem. Faith is declaring the greater reality of your God. Faith does not say there is no storm. Faith says, my God is greater than the storm. Faith does not say there is no mountain. Faith says, my God moves mountains. Faith does not say I have no weakness. Faith says, in my weakness, God shows His strength. I tell you, we are living in a time when God is calling men and women to rise up with bold faith. Not timid, not wavering, not half-hearted, but bold, unshakable, unbreakable faith. Faith that dares to believe when everything says otherwise. Faith that speaks life when surrounded by death. Faith that declares hope when all looks hopeless. Faith that says, I will not be moved. I will not be shaken. I will not be silenced, because I know my God, and I know my God will do it. And when you begin to walk in that faith, you will see the impossible unfold before your very eyes. The world will look at you and say, how did it happen? And you will say, God did it. There are moments when God allows the pressure to increase, not because He wants to crush you, but because He is stretching your capacity for the miracle that is coming. You think the weight you carry now is unbearable, but what you do not see is that this very weight is preparing you for the blessing ahead. Just as the ground must be broken before the seed can take root, so too must your heart be stretched before the promise can unfold. God is not punishing you with difficulty. He is preparing you for destiny. The impossible is not an obstacle for God. It is an opportunity for His glory to be revealed through your life. And when He shows His hand, you will not doubt who has done it, for no man could take the credit. It will be clear that God has done it. You see, a God specializes in the moments when hope seems lost. He waits for the hour when all human help has failed, when your resources have run out, when your friends have walked away, when your strength has collapsed. Then He steps in. Why? Because when the human effort is silenced, the divine voice is heard more clearly. When your ability is exhausted, His ability is magnified. When you are at the end of yourself, you discover the beginning of God's power. And it is in that moment when all seems gone that the impossible begins to bow to His command. That's when chains break. That's when doors open. That's when miracles manifest, not because of what you have done, but because He has spoken. I tell you this, if you want to see the impossible, you must learn to trust God, even when the evidence tells you otherwise. Faith is not proven in comfort. Faith is proven in conflict. Faith is not demonstrated on the mountaintop. Faith is proven in the valley. Anybody can believe when the sun is shining, when the bank account is full, when the family is thriving, when the body is strong. But it takes a man or woman of faith to say, even if the night surrounds me, I will trust God. Even if the doors remain closed, I will wait on God. Even if the waters rise higher, I will stand still and see the salvation of God. That is the kind of faith that moves the hand of God. That is the kind of faith that unlocks the impossible. I want you to understand something vital. Your impossibility is not God's impossibility. What you see as the end is often the beginning for Him. What you see as destruction, He sees as transformation. What you call defeat, he calls redirection. What you interpret as loss, he has marked as preparation. God's perspective is higher than yours. His timing is wiser than yours. His methods are greater than yours. Do not measure God by the limits of your understanding. Do not shrink him to the size of your logic. Do not confine him within the walls of your reasoning. God cannot be boxed in. He cannot be analyzed, minimized, or categorized by human intellect. He is greater than your thoughts, higher than your imagination, stronger than your comprehension. When God decides to act, the impossible has no choice but to surrender. So many of you are standing at the edge of breakthrough, yet fear keeps whispering in your ear. Fear says you will not make it. You are not enough. You are too weak, too late, too broken. But let me tell you what God says. He says, I am with you. I am for you. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you. I will deliver you. Fear paralyzes, but faith propels. Fear weakens, but faith strengthens. Fear looks at the storm, but faith looks at God. And when you dare to look at God, suddenly the storm loses its power. The wind may still blow, the waves may still crash, but deep inside your heart, a calm assurance rises that says, God is in control and he will do it. There is power in expectation. When you begin to expect God to move, you align yourself with his will. Expectation is the soil in which miracles grow. A heart that waits on God is a heart that prepares room for his glory. See, too many of us live with low expectations, content with survival when God has promised abundance. But I say, raise your expectation. Do not come to God with a thimble when he is ready to pour out oceans. Do not ask for a flicker when he is ready to light the skies with fire. Do not settle for scraps when he has prepared a banquet. Expect great things from God because he is a great God, and great is what he does. The impossible is about to happen. Not because you deserve it, not because you earned it, but because God delights in showing himself strong on behalf of those who believe. Some of you are weary because you have been fighting too long. You have carried burdens, you have cried tears, you have prayed prayers, and yet you still wait. Let me encourage you. God has heard every prayer. God has seen every tear. God has counted every sleepless night. And though the answer tries, it will come. Though the vision waits, it will speak. Though the seed lies hidden, it will break forth. God is not mocked. He is not forgetful. He does not turn a blind eye or a deaf ear. At the appointed time and the appointed way, through the appointed means, he will bring forth what he has promised. Hold on. Do not give up now. You are closer to your miracle than you realize. The impossible is not far. It is near. The breakthrough is not delayed. It is on its way. God will do it. I must speak to those of you who are in the place of surrender. You have said in your heart, it is no use. I cannot go on. I am finished. And yet even as you say it, there is a whisper deep within that refuses to die. That whisper is God. That quiet voice saying, stand up again. Believe again. Hope again. Do not silence that voice. Do not drown it out with despair. Do not bury it under hopelessness, for that whisper is the very spark that will ignite the flame of your miracle. God does not need the crowd to believe in you. He does not need the world to stand with you. He only needs you to say, yes, God, I believe. And with that yes, the impossible begins to shift. With that yes, the walls begin to crumble. With that yes, the heavens begin to move. Never underestimate the power of one heart surrendered fully to God. You may think you are unworthy of the miracle. You may think your mistakes disqualify you, your failures discredit you, your past condemns you. But God does not choose based on perfection. He moves based on faith. He is not looking for flawless people. He is looking for believing hearts. You do not need to have it all together. You do not need to fix yourself before God moves. All you need is to say, God, trust. That is enough. That is sufficient. That is the key that unlocks the impossible. God is not hindered by your weakness. He is glorified in it. He is not stopped by your lack. He supplies it. He is not bound by your fear. He redeems it. If you would only believe, the impossible would not be impossible for long. There are times when God allows you to be pressed on every side, not to destroy you, but to prove that what is within you cannot be crushed. You may feel surrounded by trials, by voices of doubt, by the weight of circumstance. But remember, if God has placed his hand upon you, no pressure can break you. What others see as the end of your story, God sees as the birthing place of a new chapter. It is often in the furnace of affliction that God forges the steel of destiny. The impossible becomes the very stage upon which He reveals His majesty. Because when all eyes say there is no way, He creates a way that no man can deny. God will do it. And when He does, not even your enemies will be able to dispute it. Many people think God moves only in calm and comfortable conditions. But the truth is that some of His greatest works are done in storms. When the waters rage, when the winds howl, when the ground shakes beneath your feet, that is when His power is revealed most clearly. God is not intimidated by storms. He commands them. He does not avoid the impossible. He confronts it and bends it into obedience. And if you are walking through a storm today, do not be afraid. Lift your eyes to God and say with courage, this storm is not my end. It is the pathway for God's glory to be revealed. What you call disaster, God calls a doorway. What you call an ending, God calls a beginning. Hold fast because the impossible is about to shift in your favor. There is something powerful about the waiting season. Nobody likes to wait, yet waiting is often where God does His deepest work. Waiting tests the heart. Waiting refines His faith. Waiting strips away the illusion of control and forces you to lean on the only one who truly has control. When you cannot rush the process, when you cannot bend the timeline, when you cannot force the outcome, you are left with only one option: to trust God. And when you trust Him, even in the silence, even in the delays, even in the unanswered questions, you will discover a strength that cannot be shaken. Waiting is not wasted time when God is in it. Waiting is preparation for the impossible. Because when the answer comes, it will come with such clarity, such force, such undeniable timing that you will say, surely God has done this. Do not measure God by the size of your problem, by the size of God. Too often we magnify our troubles while we minimize our Creator. We rehearse our fears, but we forget His power. We calculate the odds, but we fail to remember that God is not bound by odds. He is not a God of probability. He is a God of certainty. What He declares must come to pass. What He has ordained cannot be overturned. If He says it will happen, then it must happen. If He has decreed it, no force on earth or in the heavens can reverse it. Stop bowing to fear and start bowing to God. Stop exalting your limitations and start exalting His limitless power. The impossible is not a barrier to God. It is the canvas upon which He paints His glory. Some of you are in hidden places right now. You feel unseen, overlooked, forgotten. But do not mistake obscurity for abandonment. God does some of His greatest work in the hidden places. The seed is hidden in the soil before it breaks forth in life. Before a tree reaches toward the sky, its roots must first grow deep into the unseen soil. Before a majestic house stands tall for all to admire, its foundation is carefully laid below the ground, hidden from the eyes of the world. This is not a mistake, it is the order of life. Growth always begins in secret. Strength is forged in places no one sees. If you feel like your life is in that hidden stage, where nothing seems to be moving or changing the way you hoped, take heart. God is at work beneath the surface. Often we think that if we are not visible, we are not valuable. But the opposite is true. The most critical seasons of preparation often look like silence, isolation, or even delay. Yet this is when God is shaping your character, building your faith, and teaching you to stand firm. He is protecting you from storms you cannot yet see. He is ensuring that when you finally step into the light, you will not crumble under the weight of the calling on your life. Think about the tree again. Its roots anchor it, feeding it, strengthening it, preparing it to withstand winds, storms, and seasons of drought. Without those roots, the tree might grow quickly but fall just as fast. The hidden season ensures stability for the visible season. Likewise, God uses the times when you feel overlooked or forgotten to prepare you for a future where your influence and purpose will stretch far beyond what you can imagine. When the time is right, and this is the key, it will not be by your striving or forcing. God Himself will bring you into the open. He will orchestrate opportunities, align circumstances, and position you exactly where you need to be. And when He does, no man, no circumstance, no opposition will be able to deny what He has placed upon your life. The doors He opens cannot be shut. The favor He gives cannot be explained away. The evidence of His hand on your life will be undeniable. So if you are in the hidden season right now, embrace it. Do not despise the days of preparation. Let God finish the work He has started in you. The roots are growing. The foundation is being laid. Your character, your faith, and your strength are being fortified. And when the unveiling comes, you will not just be ready, you will be unshakable.